Hi, I'm Katie Kempner, and welcome to Perspectives here at Advertising Week on the Huffington Post stage. Perspectives is a series of inspiring conversations with remarkable working women who are leading busy lives. And an extremely good example of that is my good friend Laura Petrecca, recently made New York Bureau Chief of USA Today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to take on the new post. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. So how does it feel to be in the interviewee chair?
I know. I don't know. I feel like maybe I can just relax and chat and not have to worry about my next question.
Yes.
So that'll be good, as opposed to when I'm interviewing. I'm always thinking about the next question.
We need a few cocktails.
Yeah.
That would,
Bring the wine.
Right. So let's just start a little bit about talking about your career. And I mean, you've had an amazing career at USA Today. Can you talk a little bit about your career trajectory?
Sure. So I've been a journalist for a long time, about 20 years. Believe it or not, my first permanent journalism job was at USA Today as a news assistant in the early 90s. So I got my start there, worked there for a couple years, went on to work at Advertising Age, covered advertising agencies and many other things in the industry. Left Ad Age and did a program at Columbia University where they pick 10 journalists every year and send you to business school, which was great, because I got to go to business school, learn a lot about finance, and then I also went to journalism school at the same time. So I was able to leave with essentially half of an MBA, because I went to 1 year of business school, and a master's of journalism. Switched career paths for a little bit, stayed in journalism, but went to a health magazine, a magazine called Prevention that's owned by Rodale. Was wonderful, all about mind, body, fitness, health. Then I changed again. I'm all about trying new things. I went to the New York Post and started off as their Sunday business reporter, then became their Sunday business editor. And then I joined USA Today about 9 years ago.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about your personal life and balance.
Okay.
Because I think you have a very interesting perspective, because for many years in your life, although you were dating many people, but you were single. You didn't have the big obligations that some people have that, are trying to struggle and figure out. And then you ended up with a whole family.
Yeah.
So how was it, do you think, that you were able to balance things then? And how does it translate to how you're able to balance things now?
I think the big thing now is I'm dating someone who I love, who I live with, my significant other, and he has 2 daughters who are incredible, who I love. And what I feel with them is I get the opportunity to do things that I didn't do when I was single. So when I was single in New York City, I'll let you know, I had a great time and I worked when it was necessary, but I also made decisions to do personal things when it was necessary. So whether it's a girlfriend's 35th birthday party, it was important for me to figure out how to get out of the office early, or something with my family. Now that just extends outward. So it just means there's a little bit more on my plate, but I love it. Like for me to go to back to school night, which I've done with a younger girl who's wonderful, or when I go to a football game that my guy's nephew is playing in, all these things are amazing. I almost feel like I'm fortunate enough to see what it's like to have a family life and to have also lived that single life. I still kind of have a foot in because I'm still going out with a lot of my friends in New York. It's tiring. I will say the big decision maker for me often is, can I get 8 hours of sleep? And it's really hard to get, but I'm my best me when I get 8 hours. So that's my one kind of non-negotiable. Like I'll slip up on the gym, I'll slip up on food, I'll do all these other things that maybe aren't 100% healthy for me, but like resting and refreshing is like one of my top priorities.
There was that big article in the Sunday section of the New York Times with Ariana Huffington and Kobe Bryant, right, about sleep
exactly.
and how important sleep is.
And I agree with that so much. I'm truly my best me when I get a good night's sleep. It's tricky because sometimes I can't always do that. If someone wants to have a breakfast at 7 a.m. and I have an event that night that goes to 11, and in between I have to do laundry, right? Yeah. So that night when I get home, but for the most part, I really try hard to get enough sleep.
Well, and I think in this business, especially, but I would assume that it's the same in a lot of businesses. The social is so mixed at times with the work, and you feel pretty obligated. I think when we were a lot younger, probably you wanted to go to a lot more things, you know. I still love it when we get to see each other and see our friends. But, you know, as you get older, are there times or advice you could give when you can, to help you figure out, you know what, this isn't something I really need to do, but this is?
You know what it is? I actually have a priority list, and I even have it written down. And when I feel conflicted, I look at my list. And my list is, of course, Vito and his daughters and my family are at the top. Work is, I want to say, number 3, but it's not number 1 or number 2. But that's because I have a rewarding job. But then I have the gym, which maybe should be a little higher, and other things.
You're doing good.
But when I make decisions, sometimes I actually have to look at that cheat sheet and decide. You can't do everything. You really can't. And be sane and stable and just feel good about yourself.
Just changing gears a little bit. I mean, you're privy to so many different things that are going on with working women. I know that isn't, you know, your beat, but what are you noticing lately are some of the things that are especially being talked about? I
think there's inequality still going on. So if you look at the workplace, the number of people who are CEOs are mainly men. The number of people who are on boards are mainly men. If you even look at media, so for example, we'll look at movies, most often the big figures, lead figures in movies are men. They're CEOs, they're presidents of companies, they're presidents of countries. So that inequality is still going on, which I think that women still have to fight for what they want, and it's hard. So for me, I still have to fight for what I want, and it's uncomfortable at times. But that's just the way life is right now. So I think that's one of the bigger issues, is that women still fighting to have their voice heard. We've come a long way, and we know a lot more than we did, and we're more empowered than ever. But it is having our voices be heard.
So if there's one piece of advice that you can share with us that has helped you through this great career that you have had so far and are having, what would it be?
I'm going to give you a great piece of advice that I actually changed to suit me.
Okay.
So there's a saying, the harder I worked, the luckier I got. But you can't work all the time. So my philosophy is the more efficient I work, the luckier I get. So if I can figure out a way to streamline things and get a lot of things done, I can still make it out for drinks with somebody. I can still maybe make it to the gym when I'm inspired. I can still get my 8 hours of sleep. So as opposed to just working hard, I'm now trying to figure out which projects have the biggest effect on my job. I'm trying to figure out what can I do to really have the most bang for my buck when I do one thing. So it's becoming more efficient at what I'm working at, as opposed to just working hard all the time. I believe in hard work too, but figuring out a strategic way to do it.
Thank you, Laura. It's so nice to talk to you. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me on.